Allow me to introduce you to the new Keo Fit cleat adjustment system created by Look, helping you to select the best cleat suited to a rider's style based on angular float and to correctly position the cleat on the shoe. It's a dynamic measuring system available for the use only through certified Look resellers. Here's what's included in the kit: a plastic angular measure, a felt pin, 2 specially equipped Keo pedals, 2 cleat-specific pedal plates for either gray cleats or red, 2 magnets, and the user guide. The magnets produce a magnetic field that is detected and used by the specially equipped pedals provided. Mounting the cleats. To begin with, we start by locating and measuring the location of the ball of each foot. Use the felt pin to mark the location of the ball of each foot on the floor. Measuring from the wall, we'll then add 5 mm for most shoes. In certain cases, 7 mm if your shoes are extra thick on the heel or have a plastic piece as seen here. In this example, with 214 mm from the wall, we arrive at 221 mm and place a small mark on the lower edge of the shoe. The second stage is to attach the cleats to the shoes. If you already have Look cleats, be sure that the mark indicating the location of the ball of the foot aligns to the mark existing on the Look cleat. Otherwise, if you have new shoes or shoes with another type of cleat, remove the existing cleat, mount a gray Look cleat to the shoe in hand. Gray cleats correspond to the needs of a majority of Look clients. Be sure to align the mark on the Look cleats with the mark locating the ball of the foot. Each time you assemble a Look cleat to the shoe, we recommend that you do not exceed 5.5 Nm of torque on each screw. Once the cleat is attached, insert one of the magnets into the forwardmost section of the cleat as seen here. If the cleats are worn or dirty, don't hesitate to clean out the area using a screwdriver. If the worn out indicators are apparent, go ahead and replace the cleats with new ones. Electronic measurement. Position the client's bicycle on a stationary training device and replace the pedals with the specially equipped Keo Fit pedals provided. If this is the first time fitting Look cleats for a client, or if the client already has gray cleats, be sure to install the cleat-specific pedal plates marked with a G for gray on the specially equipped pedals. If the client already has red cleats, be sure to install the cleat-specific pedal plates marked with an R for red. At this point, we will now start the first phase of dynamic measuring. First, calibrate each measuring device pedal by pressing and holding down the blue button on the side of the pedal for about 6 seconds. When the text "Cali" appears in the display, you've completed. Then, have the client twist their foot twice from side to side to the point where they contact the extremity of angular movement, left to right and left to right again. Calibration must be performed for each pedal, repeating the same steps identified previously. Finally, press the blue button briefly on each pedal to initiate the measuring cycle. 4 dashes will appear in the display indicating that the pedal is ready. The Keo Fit system measures and analyzes each complete cycle of the pedal stroke. It is important to have the client not focus or concentrate on their pedaling and to have them pedal as naturally as possible. The client should position themselves comfortably, apply a bit of pressure to both the pedals and the handlebars. A cadence between 60 to 90 RPMs is recommended. Pedal until an audible beep is produced by each pedal. After the pedaling phase, it is important to note the values displayed on the front of each pedal. Documented tables are provided with the technical manual to organize the data produced for each client. On this table, you will see a G for gauche or left, and a D for droite or right. Adapt accordingly by placing an initial on the table for your own reference between left and right. Each pedal will provide figures for the position and amplitude of the cleat. Values for position are indicated following the POS in the display, and values for amplitude following the AM in the display. The position will allow you to reorient the cleat on the shoe and the amplitude will indicate what type of cleat is best suited for the client between black, gray, and red. Note the values for each pedal, respecting the left and right side as you transfer the displayed values to the table for reference. Once you have completed the first stage by ensuring you have recovered the 4 values provided by the Keo Fit system pedals, you will repeat the process a second time with the client, remembering to calibrate each pedal, initiating the pedals, pedaling normally for roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes, then noting the resulting position and amplitude values.
Vas-y. C'est bon?
Once again, following the second pedaling phase, precisely note the values provided, respecting the left and right pedal references on the table. Now, given all the values, you will need to calculate the average for each position and amplitude measure. These average values will serve to correct the mounting of the cleat to the shoe. The average between -2.4 and -1.5 for the position of the right pedal results in -1.95 degrees. The position values for the left pedal of +0.1 and +0.5 produce an average of 0.3 degrees. Given these average values, you will now determine the correction factor by rounding the number to the nearest half degree. In this case, -1.95 degrees rounds to 2.0 degrees for the right cleat. For the left cleat, rounding the average value of 0.3 degrees results in 0.5 degrees. You will see that for all position correction values between -1 and +1 degree, there is no need to make any adjustment to the cleat. Position values within this range are considered ideal. Angular adjustment. The position correction values determined will allow you to reposition the cleat on the shoe using the plastic angular measure provided in the kit by simply applying these values directly to the cleat and shoe. First, remove the magnets. Position the plastic angular measure onto the cleat that should automatically slide into position fitting the contours of the cleat along the rear and sides. Be sure the plastic angular measure is facing the right way. This means you should be able to read the text on the device, look Keo Fit, from left to right, as you would any text. If the text appears backwards as seen here, you may misadjust the cleats. Placing the plastic angular measure face up, text readable, before making any adjustments, indicate the current reference orientation of the cleat by placing a line on the sole using the felt pin and the 0 slot of the plastic angular measure. Seen here is our reference 0 angle. Provided you now have the 0 reference angle on the shoe, with the plastic angular measure always in place, slightly unscrew all 3 screws of the cleat, progressively unscrewing each one in series until you may freely move the cleat. Here, with the right shoe, you may now slowly rotate the cleat so as to align the position correction value of -2 degrees to the reference mark made earlier on the sole of the shoe. Having completed the positioning adjustment, tighten all the screws on the cleat. So as to not move the cleat during tightening, be sure to provide a slight turn to each screw in series until all the screws are secure. Remember to not exceed the 5.5 Newton-meters of recommended torque. Complete the cleat repositioning for the left shoe as well. Verification. The third phase of pedaling is required to verify the adjustments applied to the client's cleats. Once again, calibrate each specially equipped Keo pedal, initiate, and pedal normally for roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes. The goal is to have position values within the range of -1 to +1 degree. At the end of the third pedaling cycle, if the position values are indeed between -1 to +1 degree, we may consider that the cleat is ideally positioned for the client. If this is not the case, proceed with repositioning the cleat once again, using the plastic angular measure and using values determined from the rounded average from the second and third phases. A fourth phase will be required to then verify that the cleats meet the objective position of -1 to +1 degree. Cleat selection. Once verified, remove the magnets. Remove the specially equipped Keo Fit system pedals and reinstall the client's Keo pedals. If, during the pedaling phases, the amplitude measures between 0 degrees and 3.5 degrees, a gray cleat is appropriate. If, during any one of the pedaling phases, the amplitude is between 3.5 degrees and 9 degrees, a red cleat is recommended. If during all the pedaling phases, the amplitude did not exceed a ½ degree, then a black cleat may be applicable. Cleat memory. Some shoes are equipped with a fourth bolt down the center of the sole. This is part of a look-patented approach to simplifying cleat replacement. In this example, we'll take the shoe to which we have secured a gray cleat and start by using a screwdriver to remove the rubber pad in the center of the cleat. With the memory screw accessible, screwed in the sole. Should you remove the look cleat, you will see that your cleat positioning will remain intact. The memory plate remains attached to the sole. Each time you replace cleats, the new cleats simply clip onto the memory plate and must simply be secured to the sole with the 3 fixing screws and the recommended torque. Conclusion. You have now observed the steps required to effectively position Keo cleats with the help of the Keo Fit cleat adjustment system. Recall that there are 3 key advantages to using the Keo Fit system. The first is to help new users to clipless pedals that may hesitate or be nervous about adopting Keo clipless pedals. The second is to minimize the risk of injury. And third, improve pedaling efficiency by using the cleat best suited to the client's natural pedaling movement and by ensuring that this cleat is perfectly aligned on the shoe.